Hi, today we're going to show you how to season the Blackstone Griddle. We love Blackstone recipes. We've been making Blackstone recipes for years, and we have a brand new Blackstone so we can show you exactly how to season it and get it ready right when you get it fresh. Now, it's very important that you season it. If you see on pictures and videos, you'll see that the Blackstone looks different, and that's because it's been seasoned. And so today we're going to show you how simple it is to make. Hey, I'm Carrie with GrillOnADime.com, and we specialize in family-friendly grilling, Blackstone, and smoker recipes. You're going to find the full tutorial for today linked in the description, or you can find it by going to GrillOnADime.com. The very first thing we want to do is actually wash the top off to get any of the grime from factory off of there. So I just have a bowl with warm water and a little bit of dish soap and just a rag, and then we're just going to wash this. Move this out of the way. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just trying to do a quick scrub just to make sure you get off any of that extra junk and dust and stuff on there. The last thing we want to do is bake and grill into all the seasonings and the nastiness that's on top. Make sure you also are scrubbing this top part too with the soapy water all along the edges. Now that we've done all the soap, now we just need to rinse it off. I just rinsed out this bowl and put in some more water, and I'm just going to rinse off all that soap, and we're just going to push it down this back hole. This is where grease and stuff goes, but we just want to make sure we get all that soap off of the surfaces. Now we just need to dry it. I'm going to use paper towels today. You can use paper towels or a lint-free cloth. You just don't want lint to be left behind. Now the very next step is, it is still cold. We have not turned it on. I think that's really important to mention first, but then we're going to put some oil, and we're going to oil a thin layer all over the actual Blackstone. We actually have in our post the different kinds of oils that is best for Blackstone. Today we're just doing like a vegetable or canola oil, but avocado oil, grapeseed oil, all works great too. So we're just going to drizzle a little bit of oil on there. Now that we have a little bit of oil, then we're going to use a paper towel, and we're just going to rub it all over the Blackstone. We want a nice thin layer with no puddles. Make sure you get it into the crevices and up the sides. So see how I'm doing that front side, and then we want to go on the front, and we want to get the outside of this as well. I'm going to add a little bit more oil, but you can always keep adding oil, so don't go too much. And remember, I'm going to go up these sides as well and on top to make sure everything has a thin layer of oil right on top. I also want to make sure that I get the outside edges of the Blackstone as well. So even the outside where you're not cooking, we want to coat the whole thing and even the little top with a thin layer of that oil. So as you can see, there's little white flecks from my paper towel. I actually used my paper towel too much, so I should have switched it out. So I'm just going to go back over. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on my paper towel so that way we can get rid of those little lint, is what I like to call it. Okay, so now I'm just going to do it one more time over with my paper towel, making sure I don't have puddles. I have a couple thick spots on here. Kind of hard to show you in the video, but just a quick once over because you want just a thin layer right on top. Okay, so now we're ready to heat it up. We just turned it on. Number one, make sure your lid is off when you ignite it. Then you're going to just push the knobs in and turn it on, and then hit the igniter until it ignites and lights underneath it. So now I can feel that it's getting hot. We're going to heat this up, uncovered, nothing on it except for that thin layer of oil, and let it heat up until it starts smoking. You're gonna see that oil smoking off. But then once that's doing that, we're gonna keep letting it cook. That's what's supposed to happen. And let it keep cooking until the smoke kind of disappears. It should take about 10 to 15 minutes. Could be a little bit longer depending on how yours cooks. Okay, you can see the smoke coming off the Blackstone, and you can see it getting dark. That's what we want to happen. It is seasoning it is going to make it look dark like a cast iron. So it's doing its thing, and we're gonna let it keep going. And you just come out and check on it. Yeah, see that smoke? It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Now you can see that all the smoking has stopped, and you can tell it's starting to get a lot darker. Now it's time for our second round of oil. Once I pour this oil on, it will start smoking. And instead of using our hands for the paper towels, I am now using tongs. So it's just a bunch of paper towels. I'm actually using the Blackstone tongs. I have those linked in the description as well. But we're gonna pick it up like this so that way we can smear it around. Okay, let's go. As you can see, it's starting to smoke, and that's exactly what we want. But we want to get this thin layer all over the entire Blackstone, including the sides and the entire top. Just going to pour a little bit more on so I can get all the sides up here. Okay, so just like last time, now it's smoking. So we're gonna let this continue cooking and smoking until it's done smoking. So about 10 to 15 minutes, just like last time. Okay, so it's stopped smoking. So now we're ready for round 3. So we're gonna do the exact same thing we did last time. Drizzle some oil on top, use a paper towel and some tongs, and spread it all around. Be very careful not to splatter it, because I splattered it just a little bit just now. Oh, and again, don't do that. But as you can tell, it's getting blacker. That's what you want it to look like. Now, one of the questions we get asked often is, how many times do you need to do this? 3 or 4 rounds is usually enough. And you can kind of tell when it's ready because you'll see that darkened, blackened surface. I feel like 3 will be enough for us, but we'll see after this. Now what I'm doing is I'm just making sure it's a thin layer and getting it all off and making sure to get it all on the sides. Now we're gonna let it cook until it stops smoking again. Okay, it's nice and good. We're gonna go ahead and turn it off and let it cool off. I wanted to show you what it looks like. We could have done another step if we wanted to, and you'll know if you needed to do another step the first time you cook it. So as you can see, it got nice and brown. On these edges, these will get more brown as you continue cooking with it, and that's completely okay because that's not your primary cooking surface, this is. Now the first few times, I like to add a little extra oil because just to make sure that that nonstick is working. But our number 1 tip is right after you've seasoned it is to go ahead and cook a fatty meal. So bacon works great because that grease and stuff will extra season it while you're cooking it. And like today, we're going to make our smash burger recipes, which is delicious, but having that little bit fattier meat on here will help as well. So bacon or a burger would be wonderful for your first time cooking on your Blackstone. So that's how simple it is to season a Blackstone recipe. Go to grillonadime.com to learn more, or we have the link for the full tutorial in the description below. Okay, make sure you follow us, like and subscribe on YouTube so that way you don't miss any more of our Blackstone recipes. We have hundreds and hundreds of easy Blackstone recipes on grillonadime.com. We actually have an entire page dedicated just to the Blackstone. Now, one of the other questions I wanted to talk about is that people ask, how often do you need to season it? Really, you should never really have to season it again as long as you're cooking higher fat foods regularly and you're caring for it, correctly. We actually have a post on how to clean your Blackstone griddle, so make sure you check that out because if you clean it correctly, you won't have to re-season it very often. Now, if you're keeping it outside in the winter and you open it for the new season and you notice it's kind of maybe rusty or it just doesn't look right, then you can go ahead and re-season it as well. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next time with my Blackstone for another delicious recipe and tutorial. Bye, friends.